I would prefer that we get all the information and we're able to decide for ourselves, that we're able to be trusted as a people, and that the government should not be the gatekeepers of information, and that we as the people that actually own that information should have the right and access to the information we own. I'm in that camp. But I understand that some people think that you can't trust the people. People are not able to figure things out sometimes, and you have to spoon feed them information. I get both sides, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would side with the first, the former. Like, I think in the long run, it's much better to give people the truth and the information, right? You in small doses, you can do the latter. You can spoon feed people, and that's what they're used to. Because I think in an age where information is much more readily available, communication is much more broadly accessible, the latter technique doesn't work anymore. Because once you sniff out one little tiny bit of bullshit, then the whole thing falls apart. And I think that's what happened. This is a kind of a non sequitur a little bit, but like during COVID, right? They tried to use the spoon feeding in terms of the information about the vaccine. And that didn't really work because people, there's things coming out that were not correct about it. And so then you just lost all of your credibility, even though maybe they were right. Maybe Fauci was right 80%. I don't know what the number is, but maybe his heart was in the right place. But then the information he was giving was complete garbage. And now we have a whole thing where the complete, erosion of trust in all institutions. And I think that's much more dangerous to a cohesive society than just giving them the truth. Yes, there's going to be some people that are offended or pissed off, or maybe you have to rework some foreign policy here or whatnot. But in the long run, I think you have a much better chance of like holding the nation together, right? I mean, the nation cannot continue to survive if everybody hates the government. Nobody trusts the government. Like, how is that going to work in the long run?
I've been working on, we've built like this new social discussion platform. We call it Soju, and it's supposed to be free speech. So,
which is awesome, by the way.
Just a quick break before this video continues. If you haven't signed up for Soju yet, go check it out, soj.oo. It's a social discussion platform that we've created. That's where the community is hanging out. Definitely worth checking out, soj.oo. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, do it now, which is awesome. But as soon as you give a population free speech, the first thing they do is say like the most racist shit out there, right? Yeah. Because like, holy shit, we can say it, and that's all people want to do. And then I'm like, if I was like a funded business with investors, then I'd be like, dude, I don't know if we can allow this. I get why people would start censoring people because like, all right, like it's getting a little dangerous. But I'm in the camp that I think that freedom matters and you just have to let it play out. And if you let people maybe use that blow-off valve to just get it out there, that eventually people will get to actual nuanced discussion. And we're in that weird, funny area where we have a lot of real discussion and we have also like just a bunch of racist shit, And some people join the app and they're like, dude, this may be too racist for me. I'm like, I think this is what freedom looks like. There's a learning curve and growing pains to it. But if you're a government that impacts not only your people, but the world around you, like, I wonder if you could just give people freedom, because I want it. And that's what I ask for. But what would happen if they actually did that? What would happen if they're like, here are all the files. We did it. What happens?
Well, then it's what you do to counter the speech. Like what's in terms of, okay, so there are people saying racist things on your platform. What's the best way? Is it to shut down the racist comments and delete them? Or is it to have somebody else go and say, hey, that was a racist comment. I don't like what you just said there.
We just let it ride right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I think in an age of just mass communication, the free speech doctrine should be like, hey, I'm going to counter your speech that I don't like with my speech, and then kind of let the market decide what they like more. And just duke it out that way. Versus censorship necessarily comes from, I think, like a governing body. Like there's authority. Like the reason why you are able to think about this and censor is because you control the platform. So that anybody who has the ability to censor, by definition, controls something. And do you want to let these people maintain that control, or do you want to at least have some semblance of like, grassroots democracy where people that aren't in control can also have a voice and push back against, because you maybe Matt Kim one day will go rogue. Like, do you trust these people not to go rogue? That's the question, right? Because you could say, oh, I just want a nice, benevolent dictator. Like, Matt Kim, he has our best interest in mind on this platform. He's going to be a benevolent ruler of the app. But do you trust that, or do you want to have people who, have other ideas and then let the users decide, okay, what's going to work? Like, what do I believe in?
Yeah, I'm very much in the camp of this, like, give power back to the people. So, I mean, the goal of it was always to democratize the entire platform, meaning that people will decide what the direction in which it goes. People will have ownership of it. And the goal that, me and Andrew, who created that, we eventually don't own anything. We don't want to. Like, we want it just to exist. And we think that there should be a system in place that is anti to the system that lives around us, which is full of control. Like, the internet was supposed to give you freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Privacy is not the ability to keep everything secret. Privacy is the ability to choose what you let public. And we've been stripped of that ability, where every single transaction is tracked, every single conversation is tracked. You should be able to choose to do that if you choose to do so. And you should be able to live in anonymity if you choose to do so. I think that technology has been really dangerous in the fact that we willingly give away our freedoms and we give away our power on things that we should control. So this is our way of giving power and control back to people. And if that means that we have to go through a few months of really racist shit to prove that it exists and, like, it is free speech and we do not censor, I think that's the community's way of almost testing us, Like, we're going to say some crazy shit and let's see if they take it down. Like, do they really believe in this idea? And it's like, no, I really do believe in it. So I don't agree with what you say. I don't agree with it at all. And I'm going to suck it up and we're going to let it exist. Because if we start choosing what words are said that we agree with and we not agree with, how are we different than everyone else?
That's true. And I think there's going to be even more challenges ahead because once you grow, I think Reddit was, when I was, looking through your platform, it reminded me of like early stage Reddit where things were more, Wild West situation. Yeah. And as you get bigger, right, then you have other investors get involved. You maybe you go public, whatever it is. Then you start, and ultimately then it goes down to like, okay, monetization. How do we make money off of this platform? A lot of times it goes to advertisers. Advertisers, they're trying to appeal to a broad base, so they don't want crazy shit being said. And that's when you start to have even more issues. So then it's like, how do you figure out a monetization path where it works? And ultimately, I think the market dictates, right? I think that's why we're seeing, in a lot of ways, of opening up of free speech across a lot of platforms on most issues other than one issue. But and the
Funny
reason,
how that works.
Yeah, and the reason why that works is because the market demanded it, and they know, okay, this is how we're going to be able to make more money. Is these issues are deeply unpopular? We're going to just open things up. People don't like the censorship, so we're going to open it up. But then there's still obviously this other force on the one issue. But ultimately, I think the market is going to decide what's going to work.
I think that if you censor one topic, it's the same as censoring all the topics because you're proving that you choose the winners and the losers of ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that is really dangerous because we're in this habit in society where we let them take 10 rights, give back 9, and we think we won. No, they took 1 right, and they just do it over and over again. And we lose one at a time over time because we thinking, well, like, they locked us down for COVID. Yeah. And they told us we have to do all this stuff, and they told us we can't see grandma. But, like, we're back. Like, no, like, actually, there are some things that were irreversible, and we kind of forget that happened because we got some back. You can't let them take any right because they just pick away at you. Thanks for watching the clip. If you want to see the full episode, click here. If you want to see more clips, click here.